Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, whatever time it is that you're here watching us on Word on the Skreets. I'd like to thank y'all for stopping on by and giving the show or the video, whatever this is, a chance. I've got a couple of new subscribers that came on through here thanks to the interview yesterday with Gunners. So if you guys haven't checked that one out, make sure y'all go tap in. It's an interview I did with Gunner from Gunners Collective and Collective Clips. So go check out his channel, give it a love tap, show him some love. Homeboy has some great content on there. It's a little bit of everything, makes you laugh, good stories of growing up, in a tough neighborhood, maybe doing some things that weren't of the legal kind, but it's all got a message behind it. It's not just something that's glorifying. So with that being said, for those that have come in here from Gunners, I appreciate y'all. Welcome here to the Gun Line and welcome to Word on the Skreets. Check this out. The word on the Skreets is that our people, the raza, the Hispanics, the Latinos, the mestizos, I don't know if I said that already, but we're not just crossing the border anymore from down south. We're now crossing party lines, y'all. So, like many Latinos that grew up in any urban city, whether it's LA, Chicago, Florida, New York, Seattle, whatever, all those cities, we pretty much predominantly voted Democrat. All right. Why was that? Well, honestly, when I was growing up, I had this discussion actually not too long ago with a family member because he was telling me, like, where did you hear about all this growing up? Well, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. And I would hear all the time, like the older black folks, they would be out there and they would be saying, like, how the Republicans fuck everything up and, white people hate us. And I grew up, just listening to that. It was impacting my childhood, little did I know. And then when I became old enough to vote, they would send us letters, all right, in the mail, saying, your voting location is here, which was at this church called Mother of Sorrows right there on 87th Place in Maine. And you're going to vote for, this is who you want to vote for. You know what I'm saying? And I shit you not, I remember going there and I asked it was an older black lady, the bigger kind, like, big mama house kind. And she was like, yeah, baby, you're going to want to go ahead and vote for this right here, that right there, this right there. And I was like, okay, yes, ma'am. I didn't know any better. It was my first time voting. This was back in 96, I think it was. Because I remember I voted for Clinton. So, anywho, moving on. I kept doing that for years. I voted for the Democrats, not knowing shit, except I kept hearing, Republicans are all white people and they hate us and they don't help us. And, the Democrats help us. Maxine Waters built a community, so not a community, like an education center right there in our neighborhood, because Maxine Waters is the representative where I grew up at. But anywho, so that's the ideology I grew up with. Right bad, left good. And I went like that all through till I joined the military. All right. Once I joined the military, that's when I got exposed to a lot of different things. And I saw that my world was more than just my neighborhood in LA. So I was able to see that it wasn't true that all white people had money, that all white people hate us. And I started dipping a little bit more into what the conservative movement or the conservative ideology was. And there was a lot of things like, hey, I agree with that. Oh, I believe that too. Oh, I like that. But what the fuck? What am I doing wrong here? And eventually I grew up. So I became more of a central to the right. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us identify center to the right. But anywho, I want to read a quick quote to you guys. And it's, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you don't have a heart. If you're not a conservative when you're old, you don't have a brain. And that right there, once I heard that, it made so much sense. And it's true, dude. I mean, I get it. When we're younger, we're more empathetic and we try to help out more. We try to because we're also benefiting from it as well. And if you think about it, we're not really taxpayers at that time. You know what I'm saying? We're not seeing how much people are manipulating the system in order to gain more, and it's coming out of our tax dollars. So, anywho, all that was inspired because I watched fucking Joe Biden over here call Trump his vice president, and then earlier he called the Ukraine president instead of calling him Zelensky. That fool straight called him Putin. So it got me to thinking, like, you know what? Maybe I should do a word on the streets on why there are more Latinos moving towards the right than there are staying in the left. So with that being said, it's been 5 minutes. I'm gonna shut the hell up now. Hopefully y'all still with me. And I found this thing here on the Tubes of You, which I'm gonna share right now. And I want y'all to react with me, man. Let me know where I'm wrong. Let me know where I'm right in the comments. And it's called Liberal Latinos Debate Conservative Latinos on Immigration, Trump, and Racial Identity, Part 1 of 2. This came out 5 years ago, y'all. So it's a bit dated. So it's obviously before the 2020 election. So let's go ahead and hear what they got to say. I kind of fast forwarded the first 30 seconds or a minute of it. Yeah, because I didn't really care for all their stupid introductions. But here we go.
I'm Paola Ramos, and I host a show for Vice that's called Latinx. The whole idea behind the show.
All right. Time out. First things first. Notice on my screen, it says Hispanic, Latino, Mestizo. Does not say nothing about that stupid term she just used. I fucking hate it with a passion. I've heard people use it all the time. Well, luckily it's downshifted more. Like I said, this from 5 years ago. That's when they were really trying to push that agenda of being Latinx or Latinx. Are they stupid? Our fucking vocabulary in Spanish is, you know what? I'm going to stop because that's a whole nother fucking episode there. But just looking at this picture, I can already identify two fucking super duper lefties. All right. And a possible. It's like we're playing spades. I got two right here. Oh, Indian homeboy up here. 2 tons of fun homegirl down here. And the sister over here. Looks very Dominican, very Puerto Rican, one of the two. I'm gonna go lean more Puerto Rican on that. I don't know. She looked kind of Dominican though, but she got a little Puerto Rican influence. Anywho, I'm gonna go with these three, definitely. And then my conservatives, I'm gonna say, I don't know about those skinny jeans, pimp, but you look a little bit big, a little non-bullshitting time. So I'm gonna give you. She looks a little more conservative to me. I can't tell about this guy. He looks like a they them, and he just looks like, what am I doing here? Anywho, homeboy back here, I think he's just lost. Homeboy, he look like he's supposed to be in Samoa. Not here, but hey, fuck it, we'll take him, dog. Anyway, yeah, we're not Latinx, by the way.
Show is to really look into the stories and the voices and the issues that are typically left out of the conversation, right? Like what are people not talking about? One of the big things in the show is to break stereotypes, right? To really drive the point that our community is not a monolith. No, this is what we're looking into, and that's why you're here.
I gotta look up monolith.
Because we want to see and show the right side of Latinos, the left side of Latinos, and everyone that's in between. And maybe we can find common ground, maybe not. And before I start, I also do want to remind you all that 2020 is around the
monolith, a large single upright block of stone, especially one shaped into or serving as a pillar or monument. A large or impersonal political, corporate, or social structure regarded as intractably indivisible and uniform. Órale. So basically, you could have just said we're not all just thinking the same way. Gotcha. Fucking big word, broad.
Corner. And as you all know, probably, our community has just become the largest minority voting bloc in the country.
For Hillary.
So all your answers today are literally worth like millions of dollars for politicians that may be looking into this, right? So just keep that in mind. So let's begin. Very simple question. Raise your hand if you voted for Donald Trump. Okay, why did you
vote for Donald?
I
was close.
It was really hard to get
I didn't
behind him at
expect that from
first,
her.
especially with his rhetoric and the media and how he was portrayed through the media. I was definitely influenced heavily by that, but I also really did not like Hillary Clinton as far as policy-wise. So
Did you see
it
her?
was really hard
She
to
did
vote
not
for
like
Donald
that.
Trump, but
hold on.
it was really hard to vote for Donald Trump, but
Look at her
now
face,
that
watch.
we've had a few years of him and seeing his policies,
Hold on, I
I'm
must have missed it then.
and the media and how he was portrayed through the media. I was definitely influenced heavily by that, but I also really did not like Hillary Clinton.
Look at her. She took a breath and like, no, you didn't talk about my girl like that. No, you didn't, bitch. I will fuck you up. Can't you tell by my half fade here that that's my broad?
As far as policy-wise, so it was
She
really
was
hard to
aghast.
vote for Donald Trump, but
Flabbergasted.
now that we've had a few years of him and seeing his policies, I'm happy that I voted for him.
Hell yeah, baby.
Well, I voted for him because I've been a lifelong Republican.
All right, I was right with skinny jeans. I mean, I guess that's the style, but God, doesn't that hurt the nuts, bro?
A lot of my views aligned with what he ran on.
Facts.
I definitely did not like Hillary Clinton, and I stood against everything she stood for, which is the political machine in Washington. I wanted someone new, someone from the outside. And, you know, Trump is...
she got hurt again.
He's not a spoken politician. The way he talks about things, the way he doesn't parse his words. And I kind of like that.
For those of you that did not vote for Trump, do you have any questions for them? For the ones that did vote for Trump?
Where do you begin?
I would love to answer them.
Okay, see? Already, you could tell this broad is a Trump hater. All right. I really thought she was more conservative. I wonder what the Kool-Aid girl has to say. But let's go. Old girl, look, she's about to get eaten up by these two. Look at these two. They are ready to come after her, bro. You ever seen those fucking lionesses when they find a fucking gazelle? That's it right there. But our whole homegirl comes out and comes out swinging. You know, come on, you raza, right?
As a woman, how Sway?
Well, I'm thinking that you're referencing to the one phrase that everyone loves to reference to about grabbing, right?
That phrase, just any way he treats his women, the way he treats his daughter, his rhetoric on
have to be
Twitter, like
specific. You
anything.
can't-
These are creepazoid. But continue. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Joe Biden's definitely not a creep.
Yeah, like there's plenty of creep.
Exactly. Joe Biden ain't up there sniffing little girls' hair and shit, getting all close to them.
Zoids out there, like, but as far as I'm just gonna use what most people use when they talk about that and him referencing grabbing women by the, you know,
Punani.
he was talking about women who let you grab you by that, and there's plenty of groupies out there that will do that, and they have been in existence for a long time, and they're gonna be existing for forever. So that's what he's referencing to. And me being a woman, I don't carry myself that way, so I didn't feel any type of way about that phrase because I'm not letting people do that to me. So he's not talking about me. So I
100% homegirl, you actually have a fucking brain in there. All these other broads over here need to get on the motherfucking yellow brick road, go find a goddamn Wizard of Oz and be like the motherfucking scarecrow because they need a brain. He was literally having a conversation with another guy. And ladies, don't act like y'all so innocent. I be hearing my wife having conversations and shit. All right, I know what dirty shit be coming out your mouth. So don't let there be a conversation happen between Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton with a mic that happens to be in there. Who knows what nastiness is going to talk about? But I'm just saying, don't act like y'all are all sweet and innocent and don't have those types of conversations within yourselves.
just, you know, like women who put themselves in that position and are doing that, like they asked for it. You know, that's what they're out there doing.
So you're saying, you're pretty much saying the same thing as a woman walking down the street with a miniskirt deserves to get raped.
No.
That's the same thing, honey.
No, that's not a groupie. That's not a groupie. A groupie is someone who purposely hangs out with people who are rich and with money and looking for handouts. You know, they're asking for them, putting themselves in that position. That's the people I'm talking about. It's not people like what you wear.
Those people can
and things
still be
like that.
raped.
That's not how. What?
Those people could still be raped. Like,
okay.
Like it could still be a.
But yeah, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Oh
That's not what I'm talking about. That's really taking a stretch.
From what I heard, that
I just want to say something. Homeboy looked like a big old Samoan, looking all big. He should have just stayed quiet because now he just like a big ass sissy.
recording. He was like, you know, sometimes I just see a woman and I just can't resist but my lips, and I just grab them by the pussy.
It didn't go like that, and I didn't vote
He did
for
not
Trump.
say
I
that.
voted for Hillary.
But at that moment, when that offended me, I didn't know the context of it, which is what she's trying to explain. Obviously, the media and radio likes to cut things in bits and pieces so that you only hear the bad stuff, and they obviously frame it so that you do think, oh, he's talking about raping women, he's talking about grabbing them by the private parts, and that's just how he is. He's a terrible person. His daughter being a creep, whatever it is. He was talking about groupies. I mean, I have hung out with my very wealthy friends and around groupies. These women.
Did you really have to say your very wealthy friends, yo? I mean, you couldn't just say with my friends. Why they gotta be wealthy, dog? Why you gotta make us little people feel like we ain't enough? And why homeboy over there thinking like, God damn, I thought I had a chance, but wait a minute, I do have wealth. Carry on.
Women don't care. They're the ones also grabbing males' private parts. They're the ones that will twerk for $1. Okay, I'm recording on my phone. I was at the Standard last Saturday, and a big yacht drove by full of women in thongs, and all of them were twerking. All of them were doing grotesque, awful things, and the guys were just there pouring champagne on them. And those are groupies. Those are women that
is that okay?
Want to be seen
no,
that way.
It is not. So, but this is the most ridiculous thing.
Hold up, before we move on, are y'all noticing a trend here though? The two cuties here, conservative. The fatty and the, I don't even know what to call that. The not so pretty one. They're both the liberal ones. I'm just saying, there's a trend.
Thing for me as a woman, nobody has a right to touch your body. I don't care if you put your tetas in their face. If you say no, nobody should touch you. I don't care what you're wearing.
If you put your tetas in my face and they're touching my face, then you're assaulting me.
Respectable. Nobody still ever has a right to violate you in any kind of way. And it doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you come from. It doesn't matter what you look like. I don't care if you rubbing on him. From the moment that you say no.
Yeah, but I think you're referring to rape.
Okay. So, you know what? I'm about to say some unpopular shit right now, and I don't give a fuck what half of y'all have to say. Let's be real, 100%. There's a difference between no, and there's a difference between like, oh, stop, no. Let's be fucking real. Because if your daddy had stopped that, stop, no, your ass would not be here talking on that fat ass seat. Anyways, moving on.
I completely agree. Nobody's arguing with that.
What are other questions that you all have for one of the Latino Trump supporters that are here? Another question.
My question has to do with the fact that people always claim that Trump is outside the political realm of being bought. How do you see him as outside the political realm?
He came from the private sector. He didn't.
All right, before I let the other guy speak, this man. All right, so check it out. He's not inside the political swamp. He's not in the hemisphere of politics. I mean, he wasn't back then. Now, obviously, he's been the president, so he's in politics. But he's not a bought politician like these career politicians are, like your fucking Joe Bidens, your Hillary Clintons, your fucking all these old timers that have been there way too fucking long. All right. Now, I get it. People have a political career. For example, my girl, Tulsi Gabbard. Love you, girl. I hope that she gets the VP nod. But anywho, she's young. She's a veteran, Hawaiian, pretty, very, very intelligent, and has a good head on her shoulders. That's who I would love to see. All right. But anywho, she's not a career politician per se, as far as like these other folks that have been in politics for 2 of my lifetime so far. You know what I'm saying? All right, moving on.
And come from a lifetime of quote unquote public service where these people make millions of. Don't get yourself confused. Bernie Sanders is a multimillionaire with 3 homes. Anyway, all I'm saying is that, yes, I see what you're saying, that they're all wealthy people, but at least he came from the private sector. At least he worked himself for that money. And yes, I know you're going to say, well, he took $1 million loan from his dad, still worked for something. Whereas you have career politicians, Bernie Sanders has never held a job in his whole life, not one. Yet he's worth millions of dollars on a salary of $180,000 a year. Can you do the math for me on that? Because
let's twist it around now. For those of you that did vote for Donald Trump, what is the biggest misconception that liberals have about you for being Latino Trump supporters? What's the biggest misconception?
Biggest misconception about people like myself, I will speak for myself, is that I'm treated as I'm a sellout. as if I don't know where I came from, as if I don't know that, as if I hate those who cross well, no, I do have not disgrace, but I mean, not a disgrace, not that I hate, but kind of don't like. The biggest is that I hate my own race and that I love white people. That's what I've been told. Like, oh, you love the white people, you love the colonizer, you love. No, I love my country. I love my fucking country. I want the betterment of my country. You know, I didn't go to war 3 motherfucking times, get blown up quite a few times, got shot at quite a few times. Thankfully, never got hit. However, I did lose brothers and sisters out there. In order to have our country fucking shit on by our own people. And when I say people, I mean our American people as a whole. So, anywho, Charlie Mike.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that the media paints people with a broad brush. And, you know, when it comes to racism and stuff, they say, well, you know, you're for this or you like this. Well, you know, you're a racist then. And, like, so you paint everyone as a racist when, like, you know, do you know what kind of friends I have? Do you know, like, who my family's from? Like, do you know who I hang around with? Do you know what I stand for?
Do you
like,
even know me?
You can't just automatically paint everyone who's a Trump supporter as a racist because, honestly, that dilutes from real racism.
Right.
What is real racism?
Real racism is right off the bat assuming things about a certain race or religion right off the bat.
If I'm going to say something real quick. In the United States, when we talk about what we deem as politics, we tend to conceptualize it as
they, them?
Democrats, Republicans. It's a binary. So binaries can be very dangerous. So we have white, black, man, women, gay, straight. Someone in the binary, a group, will be privileged. Men, straight, so black, white, white. We live in this patriarchal,
You know what's funny? I had mentioned this in a live that someone was conducting yesterday. It's always a black and white issue, a black and white issue. Even here, right now, in this fucking panel that they have, where it's raza, Latinos, mestizos, hispanos, they still just make it a black and white issue. That fucking blows my mind, bro.
Normative world that is systemically racist. Racism manifests in many very different ways. And that is important for us to understand.
Maybe because you're manifesting it because that's all you think about.
So real quick, the binary, anything that falls outside of the binary then becomes an other. So what I'm seeing in this argument is that we'll say, well, Donald Trump this, well, Joe Biden did this too, right? These are politicians. We're speaking in binaries, which is why I'm an independent. I lean more towards the left.
That's amazing. You said a whole truckload of words that had no meaning. Beta.
Reduce politics, the governing of people, to this binary is extremely dangerous.
Do you think that by voting for Donald Trump, they're voting against the Latino community?
The Latino community isn't homogenous. That's why we're here, right? The Latinx community. There are class dispositions, right? There are gender dispositions. There's sexuality. There are differently abled folks. There are all these kind of
differently abled, y'all. He's talking about handicap. Just throwing that out there.
Levels and sociological concepts constantly playing at the same time. So to consider us the Latin community, I think there is no such thing as a community. There are communities of Latin people.
There you go.
So perhaps you are voting in the right.
That's the one thing you said I agree with.
You believe to be part of your Latin existence. But as I see it, coming from poor brown communities, absolutely, I think it'd be voting against yourself.
She
in
said
a type
something
of way.
that I
See, there you go. He just said it. You're voting against like your own people. It's fucking retarded. And this chick, she wants to fucking explode. Y'all ever seen that meme of that white boy that's like, look, he's about to take a fat masa on himself? This is the female version of it.
felt was very dangerous. She said racism is I don't want to misconstrue your words, but you said something along the lines like racism is happening because we're manifesting it. I'm a woman of color. Racism happens to me every day. I have to be pendiente. I have to be aware of it.
Like
because
in what way?
Walk
Like what? Can you tell us about the racism?
Let me finish. Thank you. It lives in my life every single day. As I walk, as I get dressed, as I go to a store, as I go to a supermarket, every little thing that I do, race plays a part of it in my life as a woman of color.
So would you?
So you can't, again, thank you. Appreciate ya. So you.
Oh, dude, she paused. Didn't she pause right there? Because she paused and homeboy was about to say something. When she started speaking, he backed up respectfully, and then she goes to that cunt fucking move. I hate that cunt fucking move. Excuse me, I'm talking here. You know, fucking, I want to just fucking dick slap her with 9 inches of limp dick.
You cannot say that I'm manifesting it if I live in that life and if I live in that world every single day. You don't have to live the life that I do. So you cannot say I'm manifesting it if it's something that's in my everyday natural world.
Would you guys agree with the blanket statement that Trump supporters are racist? Do you guys agree with that?
To an extent, yeah.
So yes, the answer is yes.
So let's go back.
Putting everybody
Trump.
in one box.
Who here thinks that Donald Trump has done something positive for the Latinx community, the Latino community?
His prison reform affects minorities in a positive light, not just African American community, but also Latinx communities as well.
Fool, you shouldn't be saying
his
that.
reform for the prisons has positively affected
I look at it from an American perspective. I'm not here as I moved here from Colombia to be in America. I'm not trying to continue to focus on Latin American problems because I've lived here. So when I'm
100%.
look at what the president is, whether it's him or Obama or whoever comes next, I'm looking at it as what is he doing for Americans overall? Is he cutting taxes for us, the middle class? Because there's a lot of Latinos that could fall there, obviously in poverty as well. But what is he doing? How is he loosening up the free market economy so that we can create jobs?
His economic policies,
right? His economic policies for sure. So there's more Latinos. Unemployment is down for both minorities, for Blacks and Latinos.
The unemployment level of the Hispanic communities.
I want to say something. This is probably most likely pre-COVID. All right. This is probably, and since I said that, they're probably gonna not even fucking share this. So check it out. It's been almost half an hour on here. We'll give it to 30 minutes. And then if you guys want me to do another one, let me know in the comments and I'll drop the second part to this shit. Cause it's 19 minutes long and I've only been in 11. So
he's at the lowest rate it's ever been in the history of the
That
United
started
States.
before he was
like a policy that affects everybody, you know, not just designed for one group of people.
Right.
Like there's Native Americans that need help, you know, they're
I don't care for you to design something for me because I'm Latin. I care that you do what you do for Americans because we're all Americans.
Yeah, like don't do it because of, you know, the way I look or because of my cultural background, but do it because I'm here already, I'm working, I'm paying my taxes, you know, do something that with a vision for the future that I can, you know, that really benefits me, not just because you feel bad for me, you know?
Right. Does someone want to respond to that? Is it important to do something because of the way that the color of your skin is?
So like I teach this stuff, right? So I'm finishing my PhD, I teach about this.
He's one
a
of
master's
those
course on it right now.
educated folks that look at
Race or ethnicity or gender. These conceptualizations that we have were brought into existence for particular political purposes. There is no biological essentialism to this. These are political and social constructs. So we've created laws that have historically murdered people for phenotypes, for genders, for their sexuality. So we've done this historically through policy. I don't see why we cannot also, through policy, create different types of reparations for people. There are different ways.
Oh, here we go with reparations, y'all. That's a fucking conversation that, I would love to discuss with any of y'all if y'all want to have that conversation with me. I'll tell you right now, I'm against reparations 100%, all across the board. But that's just me. You can tell me in the comments why you are for it, and we can have a conversation. Or like the homeboy Gunner says, we can conversate about it.
So there are different ways that these things manifest, and we can talk about the nuances of this as well. But yes, I do believe that people who have been historically disenfranchised through the United States, through their policies, yes.
When I say something like these words, that Donald Trump said, Mexican immigrants, they're criminals, they're rapists.
They're rapists, they're criminals. You see how they're spelling it down there? They're apparently. Anyways.
They're bringing drugs in countries like El Salvador, Haiti, and African countries. They're shithole countries. Who here, raise your hand if you think that is a racist remark.
All right. If he would have meant it in that context, 100%. But he didn't mean it in the they are. He said there. But you know what? I'm not gonna fucking turn this into a goddamn grammar class.
For those of you that did not raise your hand, why do you believe that's not a racist remark?
Because it was misconstructed by the media. So when I first heard it, I thought the same. And I was like, this is terrible that he's saying this about all Mexicans. But when you actually hear the entire tape of it, it's like, okay, here comes CNN and the mainstream media cutting off bits and pieces. And he's talking about the terrible criminals, the MS-13 gangs, the people that are rapists, the people that are criminals, the people that are killers, the cartel members that are coming through the border.
I actually did listen to the whole thing, and he doesn't just stop at Mexico. He says Mexicans, and then Central South Americans, and then Middle Eastern countries. He doesn't even just go far as just
My brother over here, somebody give that motherfucker a Crest White strip.
Mexicans. And what does he
show my brother here how to use a toothbrush? Because my man, I think he's living off the Indian land and just using his fingers in dirt.
He's talking about that. He's not talking about the white Cuban. He's talking about the white Latino. He's talking about the brown, Central, South American. This is my biggest problem with these conversations, because Latino in itself is not a race in this country. The people who are getting deported are brown. Some of them don't even speak Spanish. They speak Nahua, they speak Cachiquel, they speak Quiche. And the border is saying we need people that speak these indigenous languages because we don't have translators from these communities. But then it gets paintbrushed by like the Latino label, and Latino means like, you know, Hispanic and Spanish and whatever. And this is my biggest frustration.
My boy,
when we're talking about Donald Trump saying, hey, these people are bringing drugs, he said some are good. Some are good.
Yeah, it's true. Some are
some are not. Like, I hate when I saw that. You know, it's a little frustrating because
all of these indigenous people that you're talking about are gonna end up being on our welfare system.
So
No,
wait,
that's
wait,
racist.
All right, homegirl, you know, it's a little overgeneralized right there. You could have said what he said, you know, some. I wouldn't have said all.
Not true at all. So like,
A lot of them
my
are
problem.
on it right.
And it's not racist. That is not a racist. It's an ignorant comment, but it's not racist. All right. Racist. You know what? Drop me in the comments what your definition of racism is. It's been 32 minutes. Let me know if y'all want me to. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Right now,
My
here
problem
illegally.
Who is indigenous here?
My
Would you
problem.
like
All
to
of
respond to that?
Yes. Okay. So that
First of all those on that motherfucking that are sitting there should be raising their fucking hand that they're indigenous. Because what makes us Latinos, mestizos, hispanos, unless your ass is 100% from goddamn Europe, Spain, you are more than likely some percent Indio. Take it for what it is. All right. Your last name ends with an EZ, but your skin tone's like me. Now, except homegirl, that's all white over there. But look, you could even tell by her, look, she got lips. You know what I'm saying? She probably got a booty on her. You know what I'm saying? So you know that she's definitely been blessed by more than just a European. But anyway, all of them should be raising their hand because they all have indigenous blood. Oops.
is on us. Number one, we don't get welfare. We are undocumented. We have to have a social security to get welfare.
Well, that's not
But
entirely
they
accurate.
find
Welfare is
loopholes
not,
like having
welfare is not
children,
solely based on a check from the
etc.
government.
Can y'all let him finish, please?
So please, so again, people ignore, for example, the biggest attendance center here is in Homestead in the country, or the second biggest, and people are not talking about it. We're supposed to all be Latinos, and all no, like we're all the same race, we're all the same raza, whatever. No, the reality is that Latinos are not one monolithic culture. They're not one monolithic group. There's black Latinos, there's white Latinos, there's native Latinos. And growing up here in Miami, did not start after Donald Trump. This was before Donald Trump. My family has been called Indios. They have been called Tierra Flecha. My boyfriend's family called my family Dirty Indians.
All right, and on that note, we'll end it right there because that already tells me that. Well, anywho.
And this has been going on before Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just a fucking random figurehead in this whole thing.
We talk about policies, we talk about immigration, but like sometimes I feel like we don't even know how to refer to each other or address each other. We don't even know what the color of our skin means. So how do each of you identify racially?
I identify as a Latin American.
Would you say you're white, brown, like when you're...
I would say I'm white, yes.
Oh, I'm not white.
Black.
I'm brown.
White.
Black woman.
White, I guess, right? Are you talking about, sorry,
When you're
when you're saying like,
like physical,
like physical?
Like,
Yeah.
but like not ethnically.
Yeah, I would say I'm white. I mean, based on my skin color, but usually I will put like, if there's a box for Hispanic, I'll put that. Yeah.
Just white.
So as they are saying, 100%, we get broken down when you're fucking filling out that paperwork. I've been guilty of that because you know how it says Hispanic, Latino descent, or whatever. So I check that, and then I'll have like white, Hispanic, white, non-Hispanic, and shit like that. So unfortunately, because bro, on my fucking birth certificate, they have my dad as Caucasian. My dad does not look anything like from the mountains of Caucasus. So, anywho.
This idea of checking a box can mean a lot of things.
Well, that's what she's asking us.
She asked how we identify, right? So my family is from Nicaragua.
Hey, paisa.
If that's what you want to know, ethnically Nicaraguan American.
That's nationality.
I was born here, right? But my politics are very brown, black. I come from Indian people, period.
Okay, so what are brown politics? What are black politics? See, this is the shit I'm talking about where they fucking break people up and try to categorize us.
In the box, I typically put other. I'm native. I'm Pijao to be specific, and that's how I identify.
So I'm Nicaraguan, and for Nicaraguan, especially from la Costa Atlantica, the Atlantic coast, the Caribbean.
Okay, here's what I don't get right now. Okay, homeboys from the Atlantic coast, so that's where you have your mezquitas and anyways, your indigenous black tribes as well. But check this. These fools from Nicaragua, I guarantee you that they might be very democratic, but their parents who came from Nicaragua, if they came in the 70s, they came in the 80s, is because they were fleeing a nasty civil war that was going on over there because of the fucking communism that had fucking spread out there and plagued that country. I've been to Nicaragua, but I went there after the war had just finished, and it was not the greatest place. But I heard that it turned around and got better, but then it's going back to shit. But anyways, these cats are doing a disservice to those Nicaraguenses that came over here.
Coast, which is indigenous black and Creole culture. I'm very light-skinned, and my family, I'm very light-skinned.
So has anyone here experienced racism within the Latinx community?
Like systemically or like on an individual level?
Like colorism level, class level?
All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't do no more of that shit. Once I start getting into fucking systemic racism and colorism, she bitches talking about shit I don't even know about. Hey, you know what? If y'all want me to fucking finish this off, let me know. Hit me up in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to do so. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day with this one here, y'all. It's already fucking 10 o'clock, and I gotta go pick my mom at the airport up tonight. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all being here, catching the new word on the Skreets. And I hope to catch you here on the next one, all right? Let me know. Hey, if you guys want to shoot me something to fucking take a look at, hit me up on the gunline@gmail.com. Shoot me a message right there with a link to what you want me to watch or react to, and I'll be more than happy to do so. All right. With that said, I don't really have a way to close this out, so I'll catch y'all on the next one, y'all. Deuces.